In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about keyword research and how we can develop a strategy for our keywords to actually continue to build out our SEO for our site. In previous lessons, we've talked about topical authority as well as technical SEO. And those are the core components of our SEO strategy, because once we understand how to develop those two things for our site, we can build out onto that and get more traction onto our site with our keyword research. It's important to understand that not all keywords are the same. Think about it in the point of view as how you utilize Google and what you search for. If you're searching for a new restaurant in your location, you're going to search for best restaurant near me or best restaurant in the city. If you're looking for help with your furnace, you're going to be looking for furnace repair or furnace help near you, right? You're not asking, very specific things like how to blah, 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 unless you plan on doing it yourself, or you're trying to understand how to do something. If I'm planning a trip to Mexico and I don't know what a travel agent is, I'm probably searching for things like, what's the best resort in Mexico, or where should I stay in Mexico, or is it safe to go to Mexico? Things like that. These are informational keywords, but they can actually lead to our transactional keywords, such as trip planning or our main page, and just lead them there and help them understand that we can actually help them with their trip to Mexico. Same thing goes for any niche. If we sell siding and we're a home construction business, we can have keywords that are going to answer those questions. So think about it like this. If I'm planning a trip to Mexico, I'm probably not asking hyper-specific questions such as, is sargassum going to be found on the beach in Puerto Vallarta or something like that? That's super, super specific, and there's not going to be a lot of volume on that keyword. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's at least one person a month that's probably searching for something like that in some variation, but a better keyword would be which beaches do not experience the sargassum issue, or which beaches don't have sargassum in Mexico. That's a better keyword. So we can have an article that is a list of the 10 best beaches in Mexico, and it has the angle of these beaches don't have sargassum or have a lot less sargassum than other beaches. If you don't know what sargassum is, it's basically seaweed that comes up onto the beaches, and you really can't swim on the beaches. It makes the whole beach experience redundant. You can't do it. So with keyword research, we need to look at what's going to support our topical authority that we want to go after, as well as which ones have the most volume, and also which ones are going to be the easiest to rank for. Because not all sites are the same. If we're starting out, we need to understand that we're not going to have as much authority as, say, something as a CNN or like a Fox News or Travel and Leisure, so on and so forth. These are big sites with a lot of keywords that have been around for a really long time. They've developed their authority, and if Travel and Leisure were to post an article about sargassum in Mexico, they're going to rank way better than your mom and pop shop in Orlando, Florida, that's trying to sell travel. Okay, so we need to understand, how can we develop these keywords? What can we look for? And what do we want to do here? So first thing that we would want to do is understand what topics we want to help rank for. So if I'm a travel agent, I want to rank for cruises, because cruises are a big seller in the travel industry. So I know that my main authority or my main topic is going to be cruises. So let's do this. Main topic. I don't know why it's not typing. Let's do that. Okay, main topic. Let's do cruises. Okay, so we have a page already dedicated to cruises and how we sell cruises, but now we need to understand, what can I write about cruises? There's so much content here. I could start listing cruises. I could do Azamara. I could do Royal Caribbean. I'm just gonna, let's do Royal Caribbean, Viking. I can do Atlas. I can do Uniworld, Avalon, waterways, so on and so forth. If I'm home construction, I can start talking about all these different different rooms, kitchen remodeling, roof repair, bathroom remodeling, so on and so forth. Same thing goes for continent. If I'm looking at maybe Europe, right, I can have pages dedicated to Italy, Croatia, France, England, so on and so forth. And maybe I can even go deeper and do London, Stonehenge, so on and so forth. Okay. So these are keywords kind of tying back to our main category. So on a roadmap, on an authority type of thing, like on a sitemap, I'm sorry, what would this look like? So we have our main page. So let's just say johnstravelagency.com. We have trip planning. We have cruises. We don't really necessarily want a bunch of blog articles tying back to this, because then our URL slug is going to be way too long. But let's say we have a category for Azamara. Let's do a bigger one. Let's do Royal Caribbean. Even if you don't sell Royal Caribbean, this will be really helpful because it's going to have a lot more volume than Azamara. You're going to want to have a page that's just like this. Your main category, your agency, your service, trip planning, what the service is, cruises, and the product that you're selling, Royal Caribbean. And now we can start building out blog articles. And your blog article could be something like johnstravelagency.com / let's say, I'm just going to make up a keyword here, and then we're actually going to start getting into research. Let's say best ships Royal Caribbean. Okay, so this is our article, the best ships on Royal Caribbean, and it's pointing in the actual article itself. Let's just say this is a test article, right? Okay, just pretend this is a blog article. Royal Caribbean is great. Here are the top 7 ships you should try. And then you can have your list of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the point. All the way down to 7. Somewhere in this article, you can say something like looking to plan your trip, or looking to plan your next cruise. Why not check out our agency? You can say check out our travel agency, and under the word travel agency, you could hyperlink this. So let's go ahead and link that, and then I could link in John's travel agency. I could link this specific keyword if I want to, or maybe I just want to link the homepage to this keyword. What this does, this is called the anchor text. Whatever I'm anchoring that link to, the text that I'm anchoring it to, Google is understanding, hey, I'm referencing this page when I talk about travel agencies. This is an internal link. This is really helpful for internal links. If you have an external link, say CNN's writing an article about you and they mention travel agency and link the word travel agency to your site, that's an external link. That's a backlink. And because it's an outside source from such a reputable site, irregardless of politics or whatever you feel about CNN, in the eyes of Google, it's a highly reputable site. That is going to be a massive contribution to your topical authority for your site. So we're doing small aspects of that with internal linking and with blogs. That's just one key component of blog articles that we're doing when we're writing these things out. We're also ranking for anytime someone is typing something like, what are the best ships for Royal Caribbean? So I could do the same thing. If I want to link back to the cruise page, I could have somewhere within the text here linking back to my cruise page. You don't want to go crazy and link all the different pages of your site. They need to actually be relevant to the article that you're writing. But as long as they're relevant to the article you're writing, that's totally okay. You want to reference other articles you've written. Maybe it's an article about when to make dinner reservations for Oasis of the Seas, which is a Royal Caribbean line or a Royal Caribbean ship. You could link that article to the article you're writing. Okay, so that's how linking works. That's why it's so important. That's going to help our topical authority for the keywords that we're trying to rank for. So we're using informational keywords to help us rank for our transactional keywords. So a lot of the times with your keyword research for local businesses, we're going to be looking at informational keywords. But if you have a hard time trying to figure out what can I write for transactional keywords, there are a lot of paid tools you can use to go through transactional keywords. So in this example, this is a free course, so it's good to just use free tools. There are a lot of SEO tools out here, especially for keyword planning, and a lot of them are very expensive. We're talking $100 a month, sometimes $500 a month, depending on the tool. So we're going to use a free tool, and we're going to use Google themselves, okay? We're going to use Google Ads' keyword planner. Now you have to sign up for Google Ads. It's going to, I think it even asks you to enter in a credit card information, because the whole concept of this is for you to run ads, but we're not running ads. We're not paying anything. If anything, Google might charge you $1 to make sure the credit card is verified and can actually run ads. But again, we're not running ads. We're simply using the keyword planner tool inside of Google Ads to get a good understanding as to what we can go after on a volume scale. This is not going to showcase how difficult things are. I'll show another tool that requires a payment to be able to use, but it'll give you a good example as to how these things compare and contrast, okay? This is the bread and butter of your SEO. We've laid down the foundation. Now we need to build out the roadmap for our SEO going forward for the months and the years going on. If you stick to this plan, if you stick to everything that we've taught so far in just these short few lessons, you can rank for a lot of keywords and generate a lot more traffic for your site by doing just this, as long as you're consistent with it. This is why people say SEO takes a long time, because we need to build out our topical authority. We need to build out our keywords. We need to build out all of this stuff. And sometimes, depending where you're at with your site, it's going to take even longer because we need to build out, again, that authority. All right, enough said. So the keyword planner is going to look just like this. In order to find it, you're actually just going to go over here to these sidebars. You're going to go to tools and you can go to keyword planner. So we're going to hit discover new keywords. We're going to enter in the name of our site if we want. I will use our travel agency here that I'm head of marketing for. And I'm going to start using some keywords here. I'm going to need to reload. Let me reload real quick. I'll pause this and continue in a second. All right, so I have my site linked. This is going to look for unrelated keywords, so it'll filter it out. It'll filter things out. So it's good to enter in your site. Now let's go ahead and enter in maybe the broader topic that we want to use for our keyword strategy. So in this case, we talked about Royal Caribbean. We're going to use Royal Caribbean. Let's do Royal Caribbean. Let's go ahead and get results. So you can see that we can broaden our search. We can say cruise lines, best cruise line, Royal Cruises, cruise services, Celebrity Carnival, MSC, so on and so forth. You can see just right off the get-go, there are nearly 2 million monthly searches for Royal Caribbean alone. You're not going to rank for Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean is going to rank #1. And then there's going to be a bunch of like CNN's Travel and Leisures, things like that, that are ranking for Royal Caribbean. As such, let's go ahead and just apply that. Let's go ahead and see who's ranking #1. Royal Caribbean, Royal Caribbean, Royal Caribbean, YouTube videos, Royal Caribbean, Wikipedia, Royal Caribbean, Instagram for Royal Caribbean, and you can get the point. It's all Royal Caribbean associated pages. We're not looking to outrank Royal Caribbean. It will never happen. It will never, ever happen. However, we do want to rank for things that people might be searching for, things that Royal Caribbean is not going to bother writing articles for, and we can actually start building out our authority for our travel agency page for selling Royal Caribbean. Okay. And again, a lot of the times this is going to be local, but we can also rank on a national and even global scale. So depending on what we're going after, we can actually rank for some really great keywords here. Okay, so we have Royal Caribbean. We know that's our topic. So let's hone in on some keyword ideas. So let's do Royal Caribbean, and let's do travel agents. Let's do Royal Caribbean travel agents, and let's see what pops up. Let's get some results here. Okay, so we can see in contrast, travel agents get a monthly search volume of about 74,000. We have just gone out of wave season, so 3-month change makes sense. That should be a little bit lower than it normally is. Same with Royal Caribbean. And it's pretty par for the course. Across the board, travel industry, first 4 months, peak when it comes to searches. During the summer months, it's usually lower. Okay, now we're starting to get some keyword ideas from Google, and a lot of this is travel agent related. So let's go ahead and go back here. Let's close out Royal Caribbean, and let's just focus on Royal Caribbean travel agents. So about 4,400 searches for Royal Caribbean travel agents. We have best travel agent for Royal Caribbean. These are keywords that we're going to want to rank for, and this is what we can do with our topical authority. When Google understands that we're a travel agent and we sell Royal Caribbean, just by having our site hierarchy like this on a local scale, if someone's searching for this, this is going to pop up. You're not going to outcompete necessarily someone who's, if I'm in, I'm in Ohio, if I'm searching for best travel agent for Royal Caribbean, different search results are going to pop up than someone searching for Royal Caribbean travel agents in Orlando, Florida. It's regional, it's locale. So we're looking for local. We're looking for things that are going to help us rank for these transactional keywords. Okay. Best travel agent, Royal Caribbean, discount. Okay, so I'm not really seeing anything here that's really going to help us on an article side. I need to understand what kind of questions people are asking. It's really hard to do keyword research without paid tools. I'll say that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a site called Answer the Public. This is free for a few searches. I think it's 3 searches you're allowed to use for free. And then it's like $5 a month or something really, really cheap. Per month. So I highly recommend just getting this if you're going to do SEO on yourself by yourself. So I'm going to type in a 1 to 2 keyword, a topic. In this case, we're going to do Royal Caribbean. I can do the same thing for searches on Bing, YouTube, TikTok, and Amazon. We're just going to focus on Google unless you're looking to create content for YouTube and TikTok. Again, you can do that, and the same kind of idea is going to apply here. We're going to search for Royal Caribbean. All right. So we've done that. We have questions people are asking, prepositions, comparisons, alphabeticals, things like this. And we're actually going to start seeing how difficult some of these keywords are to rank for. And again, we're also going to see how much volume is estimated for these particular keywords. You can see this lists 117 questions. Through this circle right here, we're seeing 57. I really, really hate how this is set up on like a viewpoint. I'm a big list guy. I thought that was kind of common, but maybe it's not. So I'm going to go to lists here. I'm going to go to phrases. I'm just going to do questions. We're just going to focus on questions here. And let's go ahead and enter. I thought that would, okay, it did auto-populate. Okay. So we can see who owns Royal Caribbean. I know that sounds like, why would I want to write an article about that? But you can. You can write an article about who owns Royal Caribbean and list it. It's got 2,400 monthly search volume. I would imagine that there's going to be a ton of these. Who owns Royal Caribbean? All right. So Royal Caribbean is going to pop up. Okay. Yep. So on and so forth, all good stuff. Great. But now we're starting to see, outside of Royal Caribbean, Wikipedia, and the Royal Caribbean Investor website, we're starting to get some blogs. We're getting Cruise Hive, The Points Guy, Royal Caribbean, so on and so forth. Still getting some Royal Caribbean related websites. These are still going to be pretty hard to rank for. I kind of figured that it would be. A lot of these sites are going to be really hard to outrank. We have the Wall Street Journal, Market Screener, so on and so forth, Cruise Critic even. So maybe we look at something like why Royal Caribbean is the best cruise line. Okay, so that is an opinion piece. It seems like there's going to be a few searches per month on this, but let's see what we see on this. Why Royal Caribbean is the best cruise line. Going to be a lot of blogs here. We have Royal Caribbean has decided to make an article about this. So you're not going to outrank Royal Caribbean on this. But we have a lot of things with Reddit and Quora. This is pretty new from Google. Google is going to promote anything on Reddit and Quora over most websites when it comes to questions like this. So you're going to see a lot of Reddit and a lot of Quora when it comes to informational based keywords. Doesn't mean that you can't rank for them. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of the same sites, the Points Guy, Cruise Blog, Royal Caribbean Blog, Cruise Critic, so on and so forth. So this could be a okay keyword to go after. And we can also look at the people also ask question and answer these questions. We can say why do people choose Royal Caribbean? We can answer why you would want to choose Royal Caribbean. You could say things like, hey, Royal Caribbean is great for families with small children. They have water slides, blah, blah, blah. You have Coco Cay, things like that. You can tell that I have travel experience. But the same rule applies regardless of the industry that you're in. What is Royal Caribbean Cruise Line known for? You can do a high variety of things. Entertaining cruise lines, family-oriented, Coco Cay, again, kind of the same things. What is the highest quality cruise line? I probably wouldn't enter that in a Royal Caribbean page. Again, you want to have it from the angle of wanting to sell Royal Caribbean. But if you sell, let's say, Holland America, you might say, hey, if you're a family and you're looking for some family entertainment, Royal Caribbean could be really great. If you're looking for more of a laid back approach for your cruise, Holland America could be really great. If you're looking for a more luxury experience with a smaller ship that's more laid back, maybe consider sea water or Silver Seas. Silver Seas is what I'm looking for. Maybe consider Silver Seas, and you can have a direction to Silver Seas. So you could include that in the article. You could say, who is Royal Caribbean not for? And that could be your section. You could point to Viking, Silver Seas, Holland America, so on and so forth. That's what you could do if you wanted to. Okay, let's go ahead and keep on going. Let's change this. Let's do sort by highest for first. Okay. So how to cheat Royal Caribbean drink package. I wouldn't do that if I was a travel agent. Don't write an article about that. Who owns Royal Caribbean? How to cancel a Royal Caribbean cruise. Just think about it again as a business. What kind of stuff do I want to talk about? What are some things that I want to go for? Don't be hard stuck on search volumes. If you rank for a lot of 10 monthly search volume keywords, you're going to get a lot of traffic. We have a lot of keywords that we rank for that when you search for the particular keywords, they're supposed to average less than 10, and we're getting 30 hits a month just from these very tiny random keywords for things you wouldn't even think to even look up, really. So sometimes you could target a particular keyword, like let's say how to cancel Royal Caribbean cruise, and all of a sudden you're ranking for, I don't know, for the sake of the example, now you're ranking how to rank for Viking cruise because you mentioned Viking or something like that. That's not exactly how it would go. It's just for the sake of the example, you could rank for different keywords. Okay, so let's take a look at how much is Royal Caribbean's airport transfer. This could be a good one. Even if it has low traffic and it's still a hard keyword to go for, this could still be a good one to have and build out the authority. Sometimes it's not always about actually getting the traffic to the site, but also signaling to Google, hey, we do want to talk about this. Sometimes it is good to have articles on those really popular keywords that people are asking for. So let's go ahead and take this. Let's see what shows up and we can take a look. All right, so Royal Caribbean has a page dedicated to transfers or shuttles, but they're not necessarily answering this particular question. How much is Royal Caribbean's airport transfer? This is going to vary widely, right? There's no really clear-cut answer to this particular question, but we can create an article and just explain that to folks. Now we're starting to get Reddit questions, right? Reddit is ranking number 2 on this. Again, it used to be that you could outrank Reddit pretty easily. Now, Reddit is heavily promoted on Google, so they're pretty hard to outrank, but not impossible. So this could be a really good keyword to actually go for an article. So now we have our first keyword in our keyword research for developing our topical authority for Royal Caribbean. Okay, so let's just, for the sake of example, let's say we're going to go with this. And I'll do that. I'm going to paste that. How much is Royal Caribbean's airport transfer? You could have 5 of these. You could have 1,000 of these. There's no limit as long as it's relevant to the keyword and you're building out your topical authority. As travel agents, it's really, really easy to hone in on high volume keywords and just focus on that and go for that and only write about that. But if you write about one thing too much, now you're becoming just a Royal Caribbean travel agent. Okay, so I would say in the short term, kind of switch it up. Look at your top 5 most important things. If you're only selling cruises, look at who are your top 3 biggest sellers. If you're only selling Royal Caribbean, Viking, and let's say Disney Cruises, focus on those 3 keywords, build those out, and then go to Uniworld, then go to Viking, and then if you have all inclusives, build that out. Look at what's priority for your business. Same thing goes for any business, any niche. This is the same thing that applies. All right. Now, last thing, and we're not going to go into the actual writing of the blog yet. We're not doing anything regarding blog writing. We're only talking about keyword research. Okay. Now, let's use one other tool. And I'm actually going to pause this as I sign. Okay, so this tool is called Ubersuggest. This is also a paid tool. It's also very cheap. I think you can get a one-time lifetime license for this tool for like $99. It's very cheap. It's owned by the same company that owns this tool that I was showing you. Both are really cheap. I use both of them. Really popular keyword tools and just SEO tools as a whole are Semrush and Ahrefs. They're incredible tools, but they are really, really, really expensive. So for the sake of this example, I'm not going to show those tools because unless you're actually selling SEO as a service, you don't really necessarily need to know those tools. Okay, now with that said, let's use a very basic keyword research tool. Again, this is very cheap. You can look at the plans and the pricing when you get a chance. So let's go to keyword research. Let's go to keywords by traffic. And we're going to go ahead. Let's start again by just doing Royal Caribbean. I'm not going to do as much of a deep dive as I did with the previous one. This is going to tell us how hard this is. All right, so we haven't actually talked about topical authority and how we rank difficulty on the internet when it comes to SEO. It's logarithmic, meaning 54 is significantly higher than 53. So when you jump from, let's say, 25 domain authority to 26, that is a huge gain. As you go on and keep doing SEO, your website is going to climb in authority. It's really easy to go from 1 to 10, and then it's pretty hard to go from 10 to 20, and then from 20 to 30, it gets really difficult. So the biggest sites like Expedia are like 92 rated on the authority. This is huge. That's really, really difficult to do. Really, 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 really difficult. So for a search difficulty of 54, that's okay. That tells me that there's going to be a lot of really easy keywords to rank for and a lot of hard keywords, but not necessarily as hard as, say, like Italy. Italy is going to be really hard. So let's say I'm going to circle back to Royal Caribbean, but for the sake of the example, let's do Italy. I know that it's a hard keyword, 79 on the SEO difficulty, and almost a third of the search volume. These are estimates. None of this is going to be pinpoint accurate information, but it's going to give us a good understanding as to how hard and how much volume these move. So let's go back to Royal Caribbean, significantly lower in difficulty, much more search volume. This is a good keyword topic to go after as travel agents. Okay. Now, we have some main keywords. These are still pretty topical authority. Pretty broad. I mean, Icon of the Seas. You can have a page dedicated just to Icon of the Seas, and you can have articles just about Icon of the Seas. I mean, it's Royal Caribbean. In terms of cruise ships, this is the one that has the most searches is Royal Caribbean. That's why I'm using Royal Caribbean. Okay, so let's go to questions related to Royal Caribbean, and then we can start to see the difficulty. So we have SEO difficulty here, SD, and then we have paid difficulty. Don't look at paid difficulty. It's not relevant to what you are doing. You're doing SEO. You're not running ads. And no one should be running ads for who owns Royal Caribbean. That's stupid. We want to look at SEO difficulty. These are really hard. This is going to be really, really hard to rank for any of these keywords starting off in SEO. So let's go ahead and click View All. And it'll load. All right, great. We're going to go to SEO difficulty and we're going to go to 20. That's going to significantly cut our list. I mean, significantly cut our list. But we can actually start to see what we can actually realistically go after. So it's going to tell me my main keyword is Royal Caribbean. It's giving me my search volume, but there's still some pretty great keywords here that have high volume that are pretty low in the SEO difficulty. So this one, for example, Royal Caribbean, Nassau, Bahamas. So you could go for this keyword and try and rank for it. So you would have to frame it as like a page dedicated to the Royal Caribbean beach that they own on in Nassau, Bahamas. That's how you would probably frame it. So it would be pretty hard to like apply this in like a technical SEO standpoint. You wouldn't have an H1 called Royal Caribbean Nassau, Bahamas, but you can really utilize this keyword in your content and really go for it. Anything that's like 3-day cruise or 7-day cruise or anything like that, where it's like an actual itinerary, I wouldn't go after that. That's going to be really hard. And also you don't want to do that. Some of these also are, let's see, nurse jobs, menus, packages, the Utopia of the Seas deck plan. I can't imagine that Royal Caribbean doesn't have a page for that. Some of these are really dumb. Royal Caribbean 2026, they're looking for voyages. So some of these are going to be really, really tough to go for it because you don't want to necessarily write about this. I mean, you could maybe write an article about Royal Caribbean's 4-bedroom suite and talk about what it's like to stay in it. You can talk about how do you go on a Royal Caribbean cruise with 5 guests? What happens to that 5th guest? Do they have the same kind of room? Is there a lower type of room? Things like that. So even though the volume's really low, we could very easily like start doing maybe 10 of these and get maybe 50 to 100 clicks per month just for ranking for these keywords. And we're also going to start boosting that main keyword of being associated to a Royal Caribbean travel agent. Okay, so that's the methodology to keyword planning. We want to get a bunch of those. So I'm just going to, again, for the sake of the example, I don't know how many of these copied. Let's copy to the clipboard. I'm going to copy selected. And let's say our keyword research plan is to write articles about all of those topics. You don't necessarily need to do all that. Just for the sake of the example, I'm just copying all this over. So then your content plan is going to be, okay, number one, we're going to do how much is Royal Caribbean airport transfer? And then we're going to do a page dedicated to all inclusives. And when I say page, I mean blog articles. When we're doing keyword research, we're writing blog articles. Now, for my travel agents who are looking at this video, just for the sake of the example, let's take a look at how much less searches, how little searches, I don't know, Azamara does. I don't really sell it. I've never really sold Azamara that much. I've always sold Viking, Avalon, and Amma, but significantly less, right? 12,000 search volume. Viking cruises. I don't know why it's not letting me type. Go. A lot more, right? Viking cruises is a lot more. So maybe we want to go after Viking cruises because commission's higher, These are things that you need to start thinking about when it comes to your topical authority. And for those watching this and thinking, well, everyone's going to go after the same keywords, don't necessarily think that. There's so many keywords to go after, and it is local. So I'm not too worried about it, and I'm head of marketing for a travel agency. So, with that said, that is the keyword research strategy. And we're going to talk about some more things coming up. I'm giving you everything for SEO, but these are going to be the three like tenets, if you will, the core tenets of SEO. And with this stuff, you should be well on your way to actually developing some really good, high quality SEO strategies.